This stage is for underground artists, entrepreneurs, and game changers. The people you see selling CDs out of their trunks, hawking books on the side of the freeway, sacrificing time away from their kids, dumping their savings in their tanks and hitting the road. It's for the weirdos. Trendsetters, alternative thinkers redefining the field with their alternative mindsets. Mike's Uncut is a movement. It's about passion, sacrifice, believing in yourself when no one else does. Mike's Uncut is for you. We all know who we are. And now, you will too. Welcome, Peoria. I'm your host, Ahaba Moray, and this is Mike's Uncut. First, I want to extend an extreme thank you to the Carver Center for allowing us to use this magnificent space. They offer after-school programs, tutorship, mentorship, and actually have a really wonderful art exhibit happening right now. So if you haven't been down to check them out, be sure to do that. So for those of you who are an avid watcher of the show, you know that I was just very recently introduced to the Global Group Entertainment, co-founded by John Quest. I was so impressed with the artists on that label that I decided to bring another one on board. Our next guest is definitely not new to the rap game. He's opened for big stars such as Twister, Shauna. He's been featured on 107.5, 90.7, and just recently performed at the Black Arts Festival held by the Peoria Civic Center in 2016. And I assure you that he's a lot more personable than his name. Please help me welcome Jerk from 309. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let's get right into it. Your life took a turn, and you're definitely not shy about your origin story. Mm-hmm. In 2003, you did a stint at the Western Illinois Correctional Facility, correct?
Yes.
How did that impact your life?
While I was there, I took the time to hone my skill, which got me here right now, which is music. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of writing every day and just tried to perfect my craft while I was there.
Did you find that your fan base was the same when you went in as when you came out?
No, because I really didn't have a fan base to speak of beforehand, you know, because I really just dibbled and dabbled and really didn't, you know, have any skill to speak of. You know, I was just starting out. But afterwards, you know, I seen a big shift in the way people paid attention to what I was saying. Mm-hmm.
Did you find that you had a lot of resistance from your peers when after you were released and you started to put out more conscious type music?
Well, the conscious type music didn't come right away. It came maybe, I say, around 2013. Mm-hmm. That's when it started, but definitely when it did come, it was a big shift, but it was the right shift because I was getting more attention from that because it was more from the heart than the other music that I was doing.
How would you say your fan base has changed since before your incarceration and now?
It's grown a lot to where there's more people now listening to me and like what I'm saying. Beforehand, I really didn't have a fan base to speak of because, you know, I just played around with it. I just played around with music. I was more of, you know, writing down poetry and maybe rapping for my friends, mm-hmm. things like that. But while I was there, you know, I just studied, you know, all the greats, Jadakiss, you know, Jay-Z at the time, and tried to figure out what made them great, what mm-hmm. made people like them. And it was just, I think it was the way they said things and how they related to people, you know, and what they said to relate to people.
Right, that's really deep. So I've heard you say that you channel the greats from the past when you're coming up with your tracks and your concepts. Do you feel that that's what gives you the strength to produce music that focuses on conscientious issues or social injustices, hard topics of that nature?
Oh, definitely, because there's a lot of legends from the past that I wasn't aware of, that they were saying things that we as people really didn't understand at the time. Mm-hmm. You know, that when I've come to, be more awakened or aware that I understand where they were coming from. So when you tap into people like that, it puts you on a level of where they had to be mentally to even think that way or say some of the quotes that they've said.
Have you personally been a victim of injustice?
I think anybody who's in a part of an inner city or, pretty much an inner city has. I definitely have.
You channel that through your music?
Oh yeah, because I know other people can relate. Definitely with, just being harassed by the police, the abuse of their power. That's the main thing that I've witnessed, and, injustices as far as, being looked down on for jobs, thinking that I'm less than because I may have tattoos, but, I also accept that, because I got these, that people may look at me different because of it, or may get their first perception of me may be different. But, that's just something that I live with.
So when you have individuals or groups that aim to draw attention or highlight injustices or marginalized groups, such as Black Lives Matter, sometimes you also see the emergence of in opposition to that, or for example, after Black Lives Matter, you got All Lives Matter. And the criticism to Black Lives Matter, of course, we know was that it was discriminatory or racially sparked, or that it was seeking to cause division. Do you feel that with your songs that are conscientious, or as some would call them, conscious, are you aiming to fuel division, or is it to bring about awareness of those issues?
My aim isn't to create division, but initially some people may feel divided, because when we dropped License to Kill, we had people instantly just saying, without even hearing it or whatever, just saying, oh, it's racist. You guys, you're bashing the police. They're here to protect us. And, so not everybody's going to think the same. And that's something that you're going to have to just accept, that not everybody's going to think the same. But I never want to divide, but there has to be some awareness that's going to divide at first. It's not necessarily there to divide, but that's like a side effect of becoming aware of certain things.
When you receive those criticisms, does that defer you at all? Have you missed out on opportunities, or have you ever thought about watering down some of your tracks or taking a different approach because of it?
I won't necessarily water down any of my tracks, but different settings, or like in a performance opportunity, I may, depending on the crowd, it may depend on whether I perform a certain song or not, because of just the way it may be taken initially. But when I'm doing a song, I'm gonna say what I feel and what life has taught me, and I don't care who really doesn't like it.
Absolutely. And you perform quite a bit locally in the Peoria and surrounding areas.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel, it may not be a metropolis, but I do feel there's a very strong arts culture here in Peoria. Has that welcomed you?
Peoria is difficult. Peoria is very difficult. There's artists that show love, so don't get me wrong, but the more you get more love from people who don't do it, like who don't make music, and there's a lot of political stuff going on between artists here, but it's still a great culture. We have some of the greatest talent I've seen as far as, in a small city. There's people that are talented in all whole different type of things. We have NBA stars, people, Grammy award winning musicians and producers that come from here, So, I love Peoria hip hop music scene, period.
So where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Jerk3, on my website, jerkfrom309.com. Let's see, my Twitter is Jerk the Hitman, that's THA Hitman. And my Instagram is Jerk from 309 too.
So I've got to ask.
Yes.
Especially in preparation for the show, we hung out quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And you are not someone I would categorize as, well, at least it's not what I think of when I'm thinking of someone who's just, oh my God, he's a jerk.
Right.
You got to tell us where that name came from.
Well, really come from my friends, you know, just me always having a mean demeanor about my face, even though I may look mad, but I'm not. It's just people always think I'm mean or I'm plotting on something. That's just where it comes from, really, just my friends from back in the day.
So it has sentimental value.
Yeah.
And it just stuck.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of people are taken aback, you know, like they don't want to call me jerk when they first find out, and that's the reason why I like it too, you know, because it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be, you know, scared to use words, you know, it's just a word.
That is definitely something to think about. So while you think about that, we're gonna take a short break. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to check us out on YouTube, subscribe, like, let us hear your comments, and we'll be right back.
Stand up and be counted, show the world that you're a man. Stand up and be counted, go with the Ku-Klux Klan. We are a sacred brotherhood who love our country too. We always can be counted on when there's a job to do. We serve our homeland day and night to keep it always free, and proudly wear our robes of white protecting liberty. Stand up and be counted, show the world that you're a man. Stand up and be counted, go with the Ku-Klux Klan.
Sometimes this pressure makes you want to fight. Sometimes it makes you want to give up. This pressure gives you a feeling that it's impossible to get ahead because you started off from behind. It gets worse when you find that it's all by design. To control the flower, you control the seed. How it breathes, how it feeds the water, how it reads. You can manipulate that seed so when the flower grows, it never wants to leave. Cause see, why would it want to evolve when it believes you give it everything it needs?
I thought we came a long way from picking cotton. Now we pick Jordans, about to take your kids shopping. It's all about the money, now we living for a profit. But the money in your pocket and your pants made it cotton. You still in the field, ain't shit changed. Still locked down, it just ain't with chains. It ain't Rick James, but this drug is addictive. We real life kings, being thugs is a sickness. We don't need lynchings, turn them into Christians. They try to stick together, we just turn them into districts. Keep them separated, breed them full of hatred. Teach them about a slave shit, he gon' think he ain't shit. Erase they face off of everything ancient, everything sacred. Bury it or break it, make them entertainers, make a couple niggas famous. They gon' think they made it, how we so basic, we gotta see it. Tell them about supremacy, let's talk about the elephant. I know your people delicate, I kill them with a predicate. Tell them I can levitate, that's why you needed leverage. Melanin, connected to the truth, is nothing better than all my people dying and the knowledge is the medicine. Looking for a blessing, you can find it in your reverend. He can never lead you to a place that he ain't never been. Making deals with the devil, then you bet again. All they showed them is the ghetto, so they settled in. Snakes out of shedding skin, they just bit a nigga again. But the real deal is that we let them in. We just doing what we can, we never sin. Stop holding out your hand, thought you had a friend. Better mothers, better fathers make a better man. So when we plan to make a stand, it's a better chance.
So greatly feared is the day when the flower blooms, like an awakening from the depth of a mother's womb. You didn't create the water or the light of the sun that it needs, or the earth in which you buried the seed. Cause you see, now it wants to evolve when it no longer believes that you gave it everything it needs.
Welcome back, Peoria. I'm your host, Ahava Moray, and if you're just now tuning in, this is Mike's Uncut. I'm here with Jerk from 309, and he has just performed a very intense piece.
Thank you.
That was such an incredible piece. You don't hear too many things like that on the radio these days.
No, definitely not.
Is that why you focused on current events and social injustice?
Well, with this particular song, John Quest came at me and he said, man, I got a dope concept. We're gonna, sample this and just make it, and this is what I see for the video. So, I thought about what that meant to me, and just with everything that's going on, I just touched on how it made me feel and what I've learned about, us as people and, things from the past, just everything that has to do with my growth over the last few years and making me, more mentally strong. I tried to put into one song.
Okay, so it touches on a lot of things: education, religion, family. Do you feel, and of course this is your opinion, do you feel that the Black nation, Black Americans are not as progressive, it's not as progressive as it should be at this time?
If you would have asked me that maybe a year ago, when we were putting the video together, I would have said that we aren't in a good spot. But I see so much growth that I see it coming, that we're getting mentally stronger.
What kind of growth are you seeing?
Just people getting out and being doers, like the things you're doing. Just Black people in general. Just I see them out there doing more for themselves. You're not feeling like somebody has to do something for them, or that somebody's doing something to them or holding them down. They know what the things are. They know what they're facing. They're just saying, all right, I'm going to do it. I see it more, even though we still see a lot of, lost and, a lot of ignorance going on. I see the tide starting to shift. It's small now, but I see it. So I won't say that I don't see growth.
What are some of the dysfunctions or some of the signs of ignorance that you see in your community that makes you say that there's still work left to be done?
At the basis of it, like the bottom basis, I think it's that we lie to ourselves, and that we tell ourselves what we want to hear, and that keeps us in a position. We say, oh yeah, the government feels this way about us, or they're doing this or they're doing that, and which is true, which is probably true. However you're feeling is probably true, but does that mean you're not supposed to get something for yourself? And we feel that victim. We feel that victim mind state, and it sets in, and you don't realize that that's what's holding you down. That's why I believe I said it in the song that, it's pretty much mental slavery now, So that's what's keeping us down, I believe, is that, us not being able to be real with ourselves. Because it's hard, when you first start trying to tell yourself some truth about however the world is, or about however you're living, it may be hard to tell yourself, I'm not doing enough, or I'm keeping myself down, so people won't even go there.
It sounds like you're really speaking from experience.
Oh, definitely.
Is this some of the conversation that you had to accept and really encourage yourself with when you were released from prison?
Oh yeah, definitely, in everyday life, just besides prison. But speaking on that, I had to, I believe you really have to be aware. The deeper you are into this society or feeling like a victim, you have to be aware of your thought processes. Because to touch on this real quick, when I got out of prison, I wasn't on parole or anything at the time, but I was walking down the street one day, just going to the store, and I remember having a thought. It said, well, when I go back to prison, and I caught it, I was like, what did I just think? And it's just a cycle of, negative thinking, bad thinking that you're not checking. And if you're not checking it or not double checking your thoughts, you could be leading yourself down a path and not even realize it. And I believe that's pretty much majority of people's issue.
Absolutely. So being more self-aware, speaking positivity into your life,
Right.
and really being a driving factor of those actions and those behaviors for a
Definitely.
better future.
It's not about hating anybody. It's about what am I doing to keep myself in this position or put myself in a position.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing everything that I need to do to change that, then stop complaining.
I think that's very empowering. I think that's something that a lot of people need to hear.
Definitely.
What are some of the other challenges or sacrifices that you've made to secure some of the great opportunities that you've had in your music career?
Well, yeah, it's just a lot of time, and just at one point in time, it was just my everyday life was just focused on music and doing everything around it, like making mixtape covers, you know, for artists that I, you know, had in my circle, and it just enveloped my whole life. So it took up all my time. But really, when you love it, it's not, you blend it into your life and you make it. It's not really a sacrifice, you know. It would be a sacrifice to not do it, you know. So, you know, I just do what I love, you know. That's it.
So you're making music to help encourage people to be more self-aware,
Definitely.
to ease the devastation and equip people with some knowledge to break out of that mental slavery.
Right.
Right. So what is your
Perfect.
goal? I'm listening. I'm a good listener. So what is your goal? What do you want to see in your community? Where do you want your music and your career to take you?
I mean, wherever it takes me, I'd be honored. Everybody that tells me anything good about my music or bad, I like it. You know, I'm glad and I'm honored to hear. But I just hope that whether it's with my music or just in general, that, you know, we all become more self-aware, because once you become self-aware and you don't lie to yourself, you know, everything else starts to fall away. You know, all the problems that you think you have start to fall away. And I just want to see, you know, growth as people. I'd love to see black growth, but I want to see growth as people, because with black growth will come growth as people, because we really won't see an enemy. You know, that even though somebody may try to make themselves your enemy, you won't just make yourself an enemy every day
Right.
with your thoughts.
Right. We're all in this together.
Definitely.
So this self-awareness that you have, and the social worker in me is saying self-care. How are you achieving this? Are you meditating? Are you drinking green teas? What's going on?
It's
Yoga?
Just a lot of thinking. So
Yeah.
you can call it meditating, but I do it like 24/7. So I guess so. Any chance I get to think to myself, that's what I'm doing.
What kinds of things are you reading?
I watch a lot of. I don't read as much as I used to. The last book I read was probably the 48 Laws of Power.
I
and
love that book.
And that was a few years ago. But yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, you know, documentaries and things like that. I don't read as much, but that's where I get most of the source of things that I research. And then I may go research it and read, like on Google or something, but that's where I, you know, really study at and try to learn history from.
And that provides you with a peace, a mindfulness and a sense of peace.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the more you know, and that you can accept about whether it's the past or yourself or whatever, it's you become at peace with it. I think over time.
Okay. Well, I think definitely after this lively discussion, a lot of people are going to look forward to hearing more of your music. Where can we find you have some events coming up?
We're on the way to South by Southwest. There probably will be a couple events down there. I got a couple new singles coming out for the people. A couple features that people should be excited for coming up.
Are these singles off the 2 mixtapes that you already produced?
No, those are already out. Okay. This will be actually off the album that John Quest is producing for me.
Okay.
And it's been a journey making that, with everything that we've been speaking of, you know, coming to grips with a lot of things in life, you know, is the whole journey of the album that I'm working on. It's called A Conscious Killer, like what kills your conscious, not me being a conscious killer, but what kills your conscious, you know. And so like really trying to tap in to different areas of life that would affect different people.
I'm looking forward to that. Will we find similar tracks on there as They Don't Care About Us, or is it
Yes.
going to be more vast?
I don't know if They Don't Care About Us will be on there, but they'll be along those lines. It's a mixture of a lot of things, you know, things for women, but also elevating, you know, consciously as well, you know. It's just where I'm at right now in my life. You know, I want to also work on, you know, incorporating what I've learned from the younger audience today, you know, like what they call it mumble rap or the little rappers. What I'm learning from them is to incorporate some of the entertainment that they bring, you know, the entertainment of how they rap, you know, and try to incorporate that. And I'm not going to no auto-tune or nothing, but, you know, just the entertainingness of your music.
Are you worried about losing your fan base with that kind of change?
No, because I won't be changing my core values of who I am. I'm just trying to make my songs more entertaining. That you just want to listen to them more and more instead of listening and saying, "Man, that's dope." You know, I want you to just play it nonstop.
Okay. Tell us the names of your 2 mixtapes that are already out.
Fall Back or Lay Down and Jerk City.
Where are those available?
They are on DatPiff and SoundCloud.
Okay. And License to Kill, a track that you mentioned,
Yes.
is on YouTube now.
Yes, that's on YouTube right
Okay.
now.
And the single that you're producing this summer is going on what album?
That'll be on the Conscious Killer album, produced by John Quest.
When do we expect that to be released?
I don't know. Maybe later this year, because you know my mind. The songs are changing with my mind because I've come to find over the last year and a half that something that I may have thought a year ago, I don't think anymore. So I'm switching it out. I want to give people really who I am, you know, and where I am mentally.
Okay. So you mentioned this is going to be kind of a growth for you, more entertaining. Will you be involving the community in the production of this video?
I believe so. In a couple of the videos, that we have.
Okay. So interested parties should just reach out to your Instagram
Yes.
or your site?
Instagram at Jerk from309, yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was really exciting to talk to you and hear your music. There you have it, Peoria, Jerk from 309, advocate, rapper, innovator. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Ahava Moray, and this is Mike's Uncut.